Hello, and welcome to another episode of How Are You Holding Up? A mental health podcast by the depressed, for the depressed. I'm Chris, and I'm alone this week. Circumstances prevented Lindsay and me from recording together this week, but I wanted to make sure we didn't miss another episode, so I'm going to try something new this week. I'm also recording this rather late, so excuse my sleepy voice. This episode might be a bit shorter than usual as well. So, to start off, a long time ago on Reddit, I used to be a moderator on a subreddit called allcapsmotivation. It was a section of the internet dedicated to, for all intents and purposes, screaming positivity at people. I've since moved on a bit from screaming at folks and find myself at a loss a lot of times when it comes to helping those around me pick themselves up when they've fallen down, on a more like one-on-one basis at least. I try to do the weekly, HAYHU on our Instagram feed as much as I can, and usually when there's a response, it's usually me giving it out. But there are so many times, really, only so many times, that we can just kind of Alfred it up and fall just to learn to pick ourselves back up again. But every so often, you get to have a conversation with someone, or maybe even just yourself, and that brings you back from the brink of a depressive episode. So, for this episode, I'll be talking to you, the listener, directly, and I don't completely know if this will find its mark, but it's something that I'd like to try and hope that I can at least help someone with what they're going through. To begin, let's just take a moment and appreciate something going on in our lives right now. Maybe it's something nice that happened with a friend, or you talk to that person you like so much that they make the butterflies in your stomach feel more like a nest of bees. Maybe you just woke up feeling great, or you felt like shit and got up anyway. Maybe none of these things happened, but you know that there is someone or something somewhere that makes you feel alive and glad to be as such. It definitely might not feel like it sometimes, but I personally believe that there is always something to cling to in the darkness. I want you to cling to that single solitary thing with me right now. For me, that thing was being able to spend time with people that are close to me and truly enjoy each other's companies. As anyone who's listened to more than one of these podcast episodes knows, I'm a social man and get the majority of my energy for life from those around me. Their successes, their driven natures, their very ambition and passion for life flows through me like the torrential rivers that they are. And every day I love them for being the ways that they are. I also cling to the knowledge that I spent a good part of this year working on projects that I was personally very passionate about, this being one of them, but a lot of them were also at my job. My can't talk about job. But I worked really hard to get those projects. And I put in a lot of hours at a job that before I genuinely hated. I felt every day going in there, I felt myself dying a little more and more inside. It was a very slow, very painful kind of experience when you want so badly to do something more important with your life, or maybe you don't even want to do something important with your life. You just want to do something that you enjoy doing. getting an opportunity to even get anywhere near that kind of life is, I'll be completely frank and honest, I didn't feel I was capable of or deserving of. I still feel that way sometimes. And I'm sure that there are those of you out there who can relate to that. But I spent my time working my way higher and higher to work solidly in that industry that I wanted to be in. And if you had asked me a few years ago if I'd be achieving this, I would have laughed right in your face. It's as difficult as it may be. I mean, we try so hard every day to just do something that makes us feel positive. And I know that trying to find that positivity when you're in the midst of a deep, dark well of depression, it feels impossible. I believe that if you're listening to this podcast, if you are taking the time out of your day to really focus on your mental health and your ability to be a better person through this, it makes all the difference. It truly matters that you are taking this time, and you are absolutely deserving. So as a result, let me talk about the elephant in the room, our difficulties. What is it that's keeping us down? What doubts, what fears, what anxieties are currently plaguing us and preventing us from advancing in life? Whether it's a toxic relationship or a difficult choice, difficulties in school and work and family, and is it something as simple as loneliness or an overwhelming anger at the world and those in it? Or perhaps even just a numb void sucking in everything good and decent in this world, replacing it with a white noise that permeates every aspect of our beings. Might have gone a little too detailed on that last feeling. Definitely not speaking from personal experience or anything. Cough, cough. Whatever it is, whatever is bothering you, let's all just take a moment to breathe. And remember that this too shall pass. Time is nothing if not adaptive and capable of changing our situations in life from good to bad to indifferent to great in the relative blink of an eye. There is a powerful bit of advice I was given once, which more or less boils down to think of what's bothering you and consider whether it'll bother you 5 years from now. If there's a good chance that you've forgotten something that happened to you 5 years ago that you thought was so terrible, and you just happened to look on friggin' like Time Hop or something, or Facebook reminded you, or, any number of things that pop up and make you go, oh yeah, remember that thing that sucked so bad? Did it really suck that bad? Just think about that perspective for just a moment with me, because I know I personally get lost in the weeds more often than not when it comes to those kind of thoughts and feelings. I'll spend minutes, hours, days even, on a singular problem that could be easily avoided by coming to an easier solution that I'm trying to force on myself, such as just dropping it, or not procrastinating and getting it done in time. Trust me, you'll think something's terrible at other points in your life that won't amount to shit. Like, let's be honest here. There's a lot of mountains that are no more than molehills out there. And I know that that's very, it's very hard to say when I've made so many mountains myself, but at this point, I kind of want to lead that into, you don't need to punish yourself for things outside of your control, or even for those things that are in your control, but you maybe haven't figured out yet. You can accept fault, of course, if you've done something to wrong someone else, and more importantly, you need to strive to never do such things again. That, however, is being strong, being kind, and understanding that if you've done someone wrong and that they didn't deserve to feel that bad. Blame is a strong and horrible thing to burden, whether giving or receiving. And kindness in the face of anger and hatred is more powerful than we truly give credit for sometimes. I find myself often in a state of blame and wanting nothing more than to see myself suffer for things that I've done or not done, particularly to myself. It's weird. It's a weird place to be in when you know so clearly that you don't deserve to feel this way. You need to be good to yourself as much as you want to be good to others. Oftentimes, we treat complete strangers, we treat friends, we treat family, we treat everybody but ourselves with the love and kindness that really we all deserve to feel. You need to be kind to yourself. You need to be good to yourself. Be kind to the only mind you have. Be generous and caring to the only body you'll have. If you've got depression or anxiety or any other mental illness out there, PTSD, OCD, borderline, bipolar, you name it, they're working overtime in your brain to get you to become your own worst enemy. And oftentimes, they'll win mental battles. And you'll fall deeper than you've ever thought you'd fall. But you can never let them win the war. Fight them as much as you can with all that you've got. You absolutely deserve love. You deserve to be happy. You do not deserve the mental lashings you give yourself every day. You definitely don't deserve to feel hated or unwanted, or heaven forbid, like a failure or a mistake. You are not a failure. You are not a mistake. You are worth every single bit of love and affection that can be given to you. In case it wasn't obvious, I was speaking to me as much as I was speaking to you. These are the things I have to try to do to better myself, and the things that I try to put out there in the world, in the hopes that those who feel as I do, who trouble themselves constantly with doubts and criticism and hateful remarks, and at the seemingly stupid, I put that in quotes, air quotes, that you can't see on this audio podcast, these stupid quote-unquote things that we do. I put them out there in the hopes that though they find a way out, that they can crawl from the mental cesspools and dry themselves in the sunlight of good mental health. We can treat ourselves terribly, human beings. We fight, we struggle, and we judge, and we blame others for our own shortcomings. But I like to believe that we've done amazing things. We've done wondrous things that have helped create kindness and gentleness and hope for better tomorrows on a near constant basis. It's just a shame that it's so easy to lose sight of those kind and generous, wonderful things, especially with so many sources of knowledge being tainted by dark and twisted thoughts and deeds. But if we hold strong and we try every day to do our best, there is always some good that comes from that. And there is always some good that can come from you. In conclusion, I want to thank you for listening. This may have been rambling a bit, or hell, it might have just been a difficult episode to listen to, just listening to me talk to you quite intimately. Or hopefully, it might have helped you clear out some of the things in your own head. I know it definitely helped me. So, like the Facebook page, follow us on Instagram. I feel ridiculous plugging stuff after this, but I want to hear from you guys. If this episode affected you in some way, go to the Facebook page. Let us know on the Instagram. Post a review on iTunes or whatever. Send us a message directly. Email us at mailbag@howareyoholdingup.com. We love to hear from you guys. And as always, don't tell me to just get over it.